Deputy Chief Justice.
Thank you, Commissioner Malema.
I think that we hear each other very well, and the answer you are giving, which is so long, is deliberately trying not to answer the question on Fraser. The question on Fraser is not what he has done or he has not done. The question on Fraser is, it's an accounting officer of an institution that got highly implicated, and figures and amounts of money were thrown around, whether this or that amount of money. It is immaterial. Why didn't the commission compel him to come and answer as a former accounting officer? Not what he wanted to do on helping the commission. No, that is his part, which he has not done. We have no problem with that. Fraser and the institution he was leading gets implicated in the commission. Amounts of money gets thrown around. Zizi Gotwa gets called for 1 million rand. Here is a person who was leading a strategic institution of the state, and that institution is implicated. Zizi Gotwa did not lead any strategic institution of a state. Didn't work for government. He worked for the ANC. He gets called, come here, your name is here, you were told you got 1 million, come and tell us. Yeah, Fraser gets implicated, monies are thrown around from the state coffers, and he's not called and compelled to come and answer on those allegations made against both him and the institution that he has led. Why? According to which rule do you have to brief the president from time to time about the work of the commission? Because if the president has established a commission, that's it. Because it might be seen as if you are now compromising the independence of the commission by constantly briefing the president, whereas if the president is also an implicated person in the commission's work.
Well, the rules of the commission talk about the proceedings of the commission. They don't provide for everything. They don't deal with everything. You know, they basically provide processes how certain things are done, how witnesses come to the commission. So they don't deal with that. But my understanding is that judges who have headed other commissions would do that. They keep if it's a presidential commission, you keep the president informed of the progress of the commission. If it's a commission established by a premier, you keep them informed how everything is happening, is going, and if there are any challenges, you update him.
How would you
Commissioner
respond?
Malema,
The last one, last follow-up on a separate matter.
Okay,
Yes.
very last one. Thank you.
The release of the last report, which is likely to implicate the president, is that not a sword on the neck of the president that he must appoint you, or if he doesn't appoint you, the report is likely to go a different way? Because there are two parts of the reports which were released. Why was the president's side not included in the reports which were released before this interview? Because we're human beings and we're politicians and we're political animals. If you have a report on me and you don't release it, and I've got certain obligations towards you, I might be tempted to do the right by you, otherwise I'll be dealt with wrongly. So how will you respond to this, that this serves as a sword on the neck of the president, because if he doesn't do the right thing, the report is likely to go differently? Thank you, Chair. Follow-up,
Follow-up, please. Thank you, Commissioner Magwanisha.
Follow-up.
Commissioner Malema.
Thank you, Acting President. Acting CJ, are you aware of the march which we organized to the Commission demanding that you change the venue to a public venue? We even left a memorandum. One of the reasons indicated in that memorandum was that one of the implicated journalists was actually working in that building. And we said, you need to change the venue, not only cost, but also that there are people in this venue who are implicated. And secondly, are you aware that Mashaba, when the commission was announced, Herman Mashaba was the mayor in Joburg, who repeatedly made public announcement that he's got facilities available for the commission to use so that it doesn't cost the taxpayers a lot of money.
Well, interestingly, I never thought about that angle, Commissioner Malema. But I think the reason why I never thought about it is because of how it came about that we decided that the report would be in 3 parts. And how it came about was that for a number of months before the end of last year, we were working flat out to complete the whole report by end of December, because the order of the court that had granted us an extension had given us up to the 31st of December. That's number one. Number two, I wanted to finish the work of this commission. I mean, for 4 years, I've been doing this, the work of this commission. I haven't had much time to rest. I haven't had much time for my family over the 4 years. There are times when I've worked right around the clock without sleeping to try and push the work of the commission. If there's one thing I would like behind me is to finish the work of the commission. So towards the end of last year, I was pushing everybody, saying we must finish. So when I realized that we were not going to be able to finish the whole report, we looked at what portions of the report would be ready by end of December to release. And those happened to be the ones that were in part 1. And the ones that are in part 2 were those that were closer to being ready. So there was no conscious decision to say, oh no, that part must come later because of what. It was simply which parts were closer to being ready by a certain time in December, and saying there is no way we can face the nation and say we want an extension but we are not submitting anything. Let us submit something at least. That was the idea. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, DC.
Well, interestingly, I never thought about that angle, Commissioner Malema. But I think the reason why I never thought about it is because of how it came about that we decided that the report would be in 3 parts. And how it came about was that for a number of months before the end of last year, we were working flat out to complete the whole report by end of December, because the order of the court that had granted us an extension had given us up to the 31st of December. That's number one. Number two, I wanted to finish the work of this commission. I mean, for 4 years, I've been doing this, the work of this commission. I haven't had much time to rest. I haven't had much time for my family over the 4 years. There are times when I've worked right around the clock without sleeping to try and push the work of the commission. If there's one thing I would like behind me is to finish the work of the commission. So towards the end of last year, I was pushing everybody, saying we must finish. So when I realized that we were not going to be able to finish the whole report, we looked at what portions of the report would be ready by end of December to release. And those happened to be the ones that were in part 1. And the ones that are in part 2 were those that were closer to being ready. So there was no conscious decision to say, oh no, that part must come later because of what. It was simply which parts were closer to being ready by a certain time in December, and saying There is no way we can face the nation and say we want an extension, but we are not submitting anything. Let us submit something at least. That was the idea. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, DC.
Yeah.
Chair, can I come in there? Please, I don't want us to leave here with an impression that we are going to find in any of the letters a conversation that JP Mulambo must be appointed. That's not the letter I was asking. The letter we're asking to confirm if it came before the process or not. But this, the acting CJ says, following the letter, they had a conversation with the minister where the minister was very specific on an individual who must be invited to come and act. It's not in the letter. We won't find it in the letter.
No,
So we should take what the acting CJ says as is, because if we're going to debate there, and then the debate says, yeah, in the letter there is nowhere where they say Mulambo must act, then we'll be conflicted. But all I was saying is that I needed the letter to confirm if the letter came before the processes, and then the letter to JP to come and act, if it came before the roadmap we had outlined, because he said the letter came in December, and if it came in December, it was already after we had outlined the roadmap to where we are now.
Commissioner Malema, obviously, the letters will be read in conjunction with whatever responses came from the
Thank you, Chair.
acting Chief Justice. Malema, please.
Thank you very much, Acting President. I won't take long because my eye is acting up. When I woke up this morning, my left eye was closed. So from time to time, it keeps on closing itself. So the sooner we finish, the better. Acting CJ, now we've got letters from the administration where a minister writes to you in response to the letter that was written to him by Chief Justice Mogoeng. And he indicates in this letter that Chief Justice Mogoeng had recommended JP Madondo and Judge Rogers. And he makes an argument that you must give other JPs an opportunity to act, and so on and so on. And then later on, he says to you, please put Madondo and Mulambo to act, without giving any reason why you should drop Roger, who was suggested by Chief Justice Mogoeng. Then you respond to him, and then you indicate that you have received the letter, and you give the background, and you also demonstrate to him that his argument that other JPs are not given an opportunity is neither here nor there, because the following people will give a long list of people who have given an opportunity, including the deputy judge presidents and all of them. And you say that you cannot appoint JP Mulambo because it's late in the letter then. That point has been made. And then from there, what shocks me is that then when you go to appoint, you appoint JP Mulambo and I think
Advocate or Judge and Terralta.
Yeah, yes. You appoint the two, and you have abandoned that argument which you put earlier cogently, that this JP has been given an opportunity, declined before, but it's not true that JPs are not given an opportunity. Here's a long list, and it's also late. Then you leave that argument, you go and appoint Unterhalter and JP Mulambo, and Rogers and Madondo are completely left off.
No, they were not left off.
Yeah.
They acted.
Yes.
They acted.
This is a separate thing.
This is what happened. It's different times.
Yes.
So DJP Madondo and Judge Rogers acted. Judge Rogers just finished mid-January, actually, acting.
Yes.
Judge Madondo finished at the end of November, and he had indicated to me that he was not going to be available beyond November.
Who was that?
Judge Madondo.
Okay.
So I probably would have extended his acting appointment just like I extended Judge Rogers' one. But
Yes.
I didn't extend it because he said he was not available for an extension beyond end of November. But as it turned out, he actually fell ill earlier.
Yes.
And by the end of November, he was not in court because he was in hospital and so on and so on. So they did act. But what I had said to the minister, and I must just say immediately that I haven't had a look at my letter to refresh my memory,
Yes.
but based on my recollection, I had refused to appoint Judge Mlambo at a particular time, and for the reasons that I'd given. But my approach was not that I would never appoint him. My approach was that sometime in the future I can consider him, which is what happened.
So we are in agreement that it is not illegal for a minister to suggest that so and so must act, but it's something unheard of.
Well, I said I don't want to say anything whether it's legal or not, but I said it's certainly not something that had happened before as far as I know.
Okay. Now I want to come to a different subject. This Fraser.
Before I beg your indulgence, Chair, before Honorable Malema gets to the different subject, I want to make a follow-up without confusing ACJ. Would you allow me to do that, or do you want him to finish the second subject first?
Would it not be proper because it's his turn?
Okay, it's okay.
He must.
We have
Oh,
all,
no problem. I respect
Yes,
that.
thank you.
I apologize.
we have all waited, Chair, for people to finish before we make follow-ups. So I don't know why is the blood running fast now. Now, Fraser, my worry with Mr. Fraser is that, you know, as head of intelligence, there is a room there at intelligence place called Musanda. It's a room called a grabber room, where all of us, they've got our things that we communicate on phones, emails, anyone they want, especially if you are a judge or a high profile, anyone they so wish to listen to, they listen to. And here is a guy who says, I want to come there and tell you about judges and all that. Did you fear he's got something on you, perhaps, that you said this guy must never ever come here? That we are going to be embarrassed here and won't have capacity to stop him. Because I will tell you, if I was the chairperson of a commission, I will be very interested to hear from a former head of intelligence who's implicated in 9 billion. Thank you, ACJ. I've got a very serious problem when I raise issues and I get to be loved by everyone. I'm not money. I will never be loved by everyone. And those who brought me up politically were never loved by everyone. Fought for this country, got ill-treated to their graves. So I'm not in a business of trying to impress everybody. I'm here to pursue that which I think is right. Others will be happy, others won't be happy. It is their own baby to feed Malta Bella. I'm not in that business. Now, I want to go back to the earlier thing of meeting President Zuma in the hotel. This had to be so because we will normally interact when we meet at the opening of parliament or other government or state functions. However, there were 2 or so occasions when Mr. Zuma was not in government, when I asked for a meeting with and agreed to. When he asked for a meeting with and I agreed to him, I think that this would have been somewhere between 2005 and 2007. He was staying in a hotel in Durban and I met him. There was one time when I was also asked for a meeting with him about 13 or 14 years ago when I was still out of government. This is what we spoke about. So you remember that you met him between this and that in a hotel in Durban twice. I accept that Zuma is not Mandela, but when you come from KZN, Zuma is the Mandela of KZN. That's why you even speak about the role he played in dealing with violence in KZN. There is no way you can be called by President Zuma twice in a hotel. You remember the years, you remember that it was in a hotel, you remember he was not in government, you don't remember what you were discussing with President Zuma at that time. I know, but there is a rule here that you don't give people, you don't raise issues that we didn't raise with you before. But you, on your own volition, please, ACJ, take the country into confidence. President Zuma asked to see you twice in a hotel. You agreed to go and meet him, and you remember all of those details. The only detail in 2 meetings you don't remember is why President Zuma wanted to meet you.
Well, I certainly don't remember them, Commissioner Malema. The one that I remember, I've told you. I've told the Commission the one that I remember.
ACJ, I'm worried that it becomes very easy for you to descend into the political arena. One is these meetings that you had with President Zuma to discuss politics. 2 is these meetings that you have with ease with President Ramaphosa to discuss this and even go beyond of discussing how he's going to appear and all of that. And anyone who says Ramaphosa's appearance was staged, I'm tempted to agree with them, because you met him before, and then you now have a press conference to engage politicians in public, descending into the arena. Are we going to have a Chief Justice that gets easily available to meet politicians at their own comfort? We don't know what gets to be discussed there, and when we ask, they don't remember. Will that not even put this judiciary in a more crisis than it is now? Because research has been presented here that people are losing confidence in the judiciary. With an ACJ that visits politicians with ease, I mean, I heard others saying it's easy for you to call a minister and all of that. Those things of ministers are insignificant. We're talking presidents here, so we're not talking those ministers, this and that. Presidents, whereas those that are implicated in what you are presiding over.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe, like and comment on my makeup videos. I will be uploading every week. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. Just look at the video here.